Hello, this is old Mr. Kent of MrKent.com, and if somebody says, don't call yourself old, well, I am old. Facts are facts. I feel old, and I'm having fun being old, so I'll just call myself old Mr. Kent. And if I look tired, it's because we are in the process of trying to get an old fifth-wheel trailer fixed up so we can live in it one of these days soon, out there in the country or near the country area where my son lives. And we'll move out of town here where the HOA is and where the high Wi-Fi congestion is and everything. So that's all set. Now, let's get started. I've had two different, actually I've had three different DJI drones. And lately, in all the Mavic versions, they've had the wire connection on the left side with my Mavic 2 Zoom and with my Mavic Mini. And so I put together this sunshade that works for both of those, and it connects into the holder and everything, and then the wire comes in the left side. And so that's how it's been. And so, being an old stubborn guy, when the Mavic 2 Zoom, it is getting old. My Mavic Air 2, when it came out, I got it. Well, the manual says to plug everything on the right-hand side, and so I thought, well, I got everything made for my other Mavics, and so I just got me a longer wire and plug it into the left side, and it works fine, I thought. But if you've looked at any of my previous range failures videos, it didn't work. And so today I decided, okay, I'm going to go out and I'm going to shoot a video with my phone. Just a second here. Okay, sorry. So many calls. That was a joke. Anyway, so with the Mavic 2 Zoom, they tell you to put your phone in here and connect to the right-hand side with your wire. I thought, well, yeah, but I've got all this stuff already made, so I'm just going to go here and connect it to the left-hand side. What's the difference, okay? It seems to make a big difference, because this morning I went out and I followed their instructions and they did a range test out at my son's house, and believe it or not, it worked like it was supposed to. So in the following videos, you're going to see that. But I went out there a week or so ago, and I thought, well, I'm going to try to, out in the country, and I'm going to try to do another range video. And you'll see in that video, and they're coming up real soon here, that was a failure, just like as if I'd gone over the power lines or something like that close to my house. And that's because I was using this setup and going into the left side. And I think with this antenna system, and I'll just get that out of the way, with this antenna system, I think this is part of the antenna system, okay? And having been in broadcasting and been an amateur radio operator for over 50 years, I can tell you that if it's a real high Q antenna, little things make a difference. And by the way, just in case you're having trouble and you've got a good connection and you start losing it, the angle that you hold this makes a difference on whether you have a good connection or not, whether it's like this or like this. But if it's a high Q, and that means it's a good quality and has a real sharp tuning point, if you go like this, you'll miss that tuning point. So as you're trying to pick up your signal again, do it slow. Don't do it fast, because you'll go right through the tuning point and you'll miss it. So just do all this kind of stuff slow to get that point back. And maybe you will, maybe you won't. Another thing too is most of the time we're down here looking at this thing like this and we're flying, and then you start to lose connection. Well, if you want to get connection, the best connection you can get where you are, bring it up to raise it up a foot or so, because altitude makes a whole lot of difference. And between here and here, that's about 25% or less, better altitude. And so the higher the altitude of any transmitting antenna, the better. And if you can stand in the back of your pickup truck, that's even better. I've done that before. Anyway, so let's let's take a look at some videos that I've shot. I'll show you my failures and my successes that I finally got this morning. All right, first let's take a look at the failure. Now, I did this video and I never posted it because it was so disappointing to me. I did this video just a couple of days after I had gotten my Mavic Air 2. And so when I'm not sure if it's going to stay in the air, I try to fly over a road so that I can get my drone back if it decides to land. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm coming out to the main road that goes east and west, and gonna turn west on it and see how far I can go, and see if I can get a much greater distance out here in the country. So, and by the way, I'm still using the cable plugged into the left side of the controller. Actually, it's plugged into I've got my phone and my setup plugged into the left, and it still goes underneath the antenna to the controller. So in town I had gotten about 3,700 feet at the most. And so I'm expecting to be able to travel along here and get much better results. And by the way, the quality of this video is I'm just showing you what the screen recording. So I'm up to 3,300 feet, and so far so good. 3,600, 3,700. So this is doing better than it was in town. And then all of a sudden, about the same distance, maybe a little further, I begin to get a lost signal. So I was really disappointed on that particular day because the DJI says you can get 6 miles out of this thing, I suppose under perfect condition. I'd like to get 1 mile, and I wasn't able to do that. So I was disappointed. But this morning, after I decided that maybe you do have to plug everything in on the right side of the system, I did that. I set my phone, I just used my phone and ran the cord around the right side of the controller and plugged it into my phone and took off, hoping that maybe that makes a difference. And so I climb up to, I don't go all the way up to 400 feet, it's 300 and some odd feet. And pretty soon I'm going to put this to 4 times speed to keep you from getting totally bored. And I think that's where I started. And I'm not going to follow the roads because I've flown this Mavic Air enough that I know it's going to stay in the air for me. So I'm headed out in this direction at a diagonal, and way up in the distance is the cement mill, which I have videoed a lot of times. Unfortunately, over to the right of my path, there's another housing development, and I'm sure that there's some Wi-Fi signals that are emanating from that bunch of houses. But if you take a look, I've gone a mile, and so, you know, and I'm happy with a mile where I live here. I'm not trying to break any records or anything, but a mile satisfies my heart a lot, because then I know that if I plug everything in on the right side and not run the wire underneath the antenna system and just have it hanging over to the right-hand side, for some reason, and I don't understand, it does make a difference. So I guess probably I should just say I'm happy with it, and maybe I've found the answer, and as I go further along with this drone, I'll probably find more answers, and hopefully this will help a lot of folks. So, I want to thank you for watching the video, and I won't bore you with a return trip home. And God bless.